Video Games Recon.
Hello and welcome. My name is Nate from Video Games Recon, and in this video we're going to be discussing my top 10 wonder weapons from the Call of Duty Zombies game mode. First off, I'd like to clarify a few things. There will be no devices within this list that may or may not be classified as wonder weapons, such as monkey bombs, the Hell's Retriever, Gersh devices and so on. Instead, it will be based on weapons more akin to a gun. Oh, and a side note, the less said about the jet gun, the better. Also, this list is based on my favourite wonder weapons, i.e. guns I had the most fun with, and not necessarily listed in order of the strongest. Also, this is just my humble opinion, and I'm sure many will disagree, in which case feel free to list your top 10 or top 5 wonder weapons in the comments section. Anywho, without any further ado, let's do it to it. The Sliquifier. In at 10, it's the Sliquifier. Found on the map Diarized, this is the first ever craftable wonder weapon. Made from a fire extinguisher, a pressurizable barrel, an improvised trigger, a mannequin's foot for a stock, and filled with some sort of 115 infused purple gunk. As far as I know, there isn't any info on what the liquid inside the Sliquifier is, but my theory is that it's a derivative of PhD Flopper. Once fired, the Sliquifier damages zombies from a direct impact, similar to a conventional weapon, as well as leaving a slippery liquid in that general vicinity. Hence the name. However, where this gun really comes into its own is when you use multiple shots to chain the effects of the purple liquid, similar to the chain effect of the Wunderwaffe, as when done on a horde of zombies regardless of round, the damage to the zombies will always be the same, making this potentially one of the best weapons in zombies for high round challenges. So, with all that said, why is it at the lowly place of 10 in my list, I hear you ask? Well, two things really let this weapon down, the first of which, to be fair, isn't particularly the Sliquifier's fault, and is more that of the map Diarized, which isn't the greatest of maps, and isn't exactly best suited for the effects of the Sliquifier, as the slippery liquid can get you in as much trouble as the zombies themselves, potentially having you slide into the zombies as well as off the side of the building. But the thing that really stuck in my craw and I could never really get over was the fact that this weapon couldn't be upgraded in any way. As from day one we've been able to pack-a-punch or upgrade any firearm based weapon, and so to me this weapon always felt like a step backwards. Not that it's in any way a bad weapon, but personally I wouldn't classify it as a great weapon, and thus it's at number 10 in this list. The Wunderwaffe. At 9, the Wunderwaffe DG2, created by none other than our very own Edward Richtofen, and otherwise known as the Wunderwaffe. This is the second ever wonder weapon and is perhaps regarded as the first archetypal wonder weapon, as unlike the ray gun, it was the first weapon to be map specific and was a lot more extravagant in terms of its design and effects, and in general was made a bigger deal. The Wunderwaffe looks and sounds hella cool, with its weird and otherworldly reloadables, old school vacuum tubes and chrome finish, making this thing look like a beast. And rightly so, as this thing is a beast, firing a bolt of electricity that not only fries the zombie in question, but will also chain kill a number of zombies surrounding it. 10 for the regular Wunderwaffe, and up to 24 for the pack-a-punched version, and as far as I'm aware, regardless of the round. However, this was reduced back to 10 for the Black Ops version of the weapon. So, although the Wunderwaffe is bags of fun and is an old school classic that demands respect, it has some flaws, and the first and most noticeable is the splashback damage, as if you fire at a zombie at close range, there is a very high chance you will incur splashback damage. And if you've already taken a hit or two, there's an even greater chance that you will down yourself. The next one is that it's not very good for points, and is terrible for accidentally killing your crawlers due to its chain effect. And like I said earlier, from Black Ops onwards, the pack-a-punch version of this gun doesn't really change much, aside from the ammo and in appearance, as the Wunderwaffe is pretty much a one-hit kill before pack-a-punching, making it very anticlimactic to upgrade. Thus, the Wunderwaffe is at number 9 on my list.
The elemental staffs.
Now, this one may be a bit controversial, but at number 8 in this list is not just one, but all the elemental staffs as a job lot. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not that these weapons aren't powerful or fun, and it's a really nice touch to have buildable weapons, and an even better addition to have a wonder weapon for every player, and to do so without it feeling too OP is no small feat. However, for me as a whole, the elemental staffs have some significant flaws. The first of which is the lack of originality, as aside from the fire staff, the other 3 staffs are pretty much rip-offs of previous wonder weapons. For example, the lightning staff and the Wunderwaffe, the thunder staff and the thunder gun, and the ice staff and the winter's howl. And as such, even when upgraded, they lack, if not power, then definitely personality. And as such, just feel like a poor man's iteration of wonder weapons gone before. And lastly, there are just too many complicated steps to acquire the ultimate staffs, which is fine if you're on an Easter egg kick, but if you're just looking for a quick game of zombies which isn't going to take hours to play, then you're sort of forced to ignore upgrading your weapons, or ignoring the Origins map completely, which is a shame, as it's a really good map. Personally, I don't want to have to do half or more of an Easter egg every time I want to play a map. Also, as you may have figured out, I'm a bit of a stickler for being able to pack-a-punch any firearm based weapon, and this is yet another weapon that can't be pack-a-punched. So, to summarise, if a little unoriginal, the staffs are fun to acquire and use, and can be fairly powerful. But for me, there's just too many hoops to jump through to get the ultimate forms of these weapons. And personally, I would have preferred it so after you've built the ultimate staffs at least one time, there would be some sort of save state that offers a shortcut to acquiring the ultimate staffs, i.e. say simply pack-a-punching them. And I know that not everybody is going to agree with me on this one, but this is my honest opinion, and you know what they say, you can't please everybody all of the time.
The shrink ray.
Next, the 3179JGB215. Core blimey, now that's a mouthful. Also otherwise known as the Baby Maker or Shrink Ray. This weapon is one of the most original and amusing weapons to ever grace Call of Duty Zombies. And with those moving fins, the Shrink Ray almost feels like it's alive, and its effects are also pretty cool and original, as like the name suggests, it temporarily shrinks the zombies into little baby versions of themselves that you can kick around like you would kicking a field goal. And if for some insane reason you decide to dispatch them in any other less interesting way, the zombies pretty much always become a one-hit insta-kill, making this a great weapon for those sadists among you that like going for high round challenges. Although this one is a bit of a case of style over substance, as like previously discussed, this weapon is no slouch in terms of effectiveness. But that being said, it's not the most practical of weapons, and struggles to match the out-and-out beastliness of a Wunderwaffe or Thunder Gun. But with style like this, who cares about that practicality malarkey when you're shrinking zombies like a ball?
The Ray Gun Mark II.
Before we move on and sing the Mark II's praises, let's give a shout out to the progenitor and father of all wonder weapons, the classic ray gun. Although by now the old ray gun has grown a bit tired and never really got the emphasis and spotlight it deserved compared to a map specific wonder weapon. That said, and although past round 30 this weapon gets less and less useful, I think we can all agree that the old beast has saved our asses on numerous occasions. And for that, I salute you, old friend, and say goodbye. And hello, and thank fuck for the Ray Gun Mark II, as Black Ops 2 desperately needed this weapon, specifically on multiple maps, as Nuketown had no wonder weapon, Transit had the abomination known as the jet gun, which is the junkiest piece of shit I've ever had the misfortune to use. And and worked sort of like a very broken paralyzer, but in reverse. And in Die Rise there is the Sliquifier, which is a good weapon in its own right, but cannot be pack-a-punched, which is very annoying. So, with all that jibber jabber, I guess it's time to explain what the Ray Gun Mark II is actually like. Well, evolved from Dr. Porter's original ray gun, the Mark II is now a 3-burst fire laser pistol with SMG elements and holds 21 rounds per magazine, which is powered by the same energy source as the original ray gun. Oh, and by the way, have I told you, the thing is a little beastie. Aside from the burst fire, which is a little gimmicky and a waste of ammo, the Mark II is uber powerful and remains a one-shot kill past round 30. Has amazing bullet penetration, and unlike the original ray gun, it has no splashback damage, which was a major drawback of the original. But there is no such drawback here, and as such this weapon can really help you out of a bind, and is a great weapon and a smart and much needed addition for both Black Ops 2 and the reinvention of the ray gun. So, that's part 1 done and dusted. Why not come check out part 2 and my Wonder Weapon picks from 5 to 1, and thus the best and my favourite ever Wonder Weapon in Call of Duty Zombies. So, with that, it just leaves me to say if you enjoyed this video, please help support us by liking, commenting, sharing and subbing for more BS of a similar nature. Thank you and goodbye.